Hi, my name's Christoph Melchizedek, and welcome to this series on spiritual principles for awakened leaders. One of the things I wanted to do with this series is just share some of the embodied wisdom I've collected over the years around how, as a leader, we can adjust ourselves to be more influential through managing energy, not people. What I feel is this transition that's coming forward is a much more move from hierarchy to synarchy. And as a leader, how can we inspire others to step into their greatness, not by managing from top down principles, but through inspiration and them feeling aligned to a connected purpose which guides them themselves, meaning that you don't need the top down management anymore, which is the traditional vertical systems. And we can start to create more flat organizations that come from a place of inspiration and people plugging in to a purpose they feel inspired by and a vision they feel inspired by. The first principle, of course, is living and leading with purpose. And as a awakened entrepreneur, stepping into the space of being influential, you need to be able to connect it to a purpose that is greater than yourself. Now, one of the things that happens at soul level is that before you incarnate, you formulate pre-birth soul agreements. A pre-birth soul agreement is an agreement that your soul has made of something that it will complete or move towards or learn on its path of embodiment. That means you as a personality, as a physical vessel, and the associated soul chooses to want to experience certain things or create certain things, have them birth through your holographic reality as an embodied being. So often these pre-birth soul agreements just reside here in our high heart. Many of you will be aware of the energy centers, the main chakras, the 7 personal chakras. Well, the 8th is a morphogenic chakra. It's your high heart or your soul seat, the seat of your soul, or the light of your higher consciousness comes and resides here. And as a consequence, here is your longing for which you wish to birth and create in this lifetime. Now, one of the things I say to awakened leaders is that there are 3 components to determine how you can be impactful and influential in the world. We have consciousness, coding, and contract. Now, the contract are these pre-birth soul agreements. If your soul has made an agreement, it usually is an agreement made with the higher self councils and prime creator of certain things that can birth through you, especially living in this particular eon we're residing in now, the age of Aquarius. There's great transformation and change as our planet moves up into a higher vibrational frequency band. This is technically known as an ascension for a planet. As we move from 3rd density up into 4th and 5th density, what is meaning is that there's a great transition that is happening in consciousness, not only for our planet, but of course for all sentient life that happens within it. In order for this transition to take place, many great souls have incarnated and have chosen to use this time period to effect great change on the planet. These pre-birth soul agreements light the way. That is the contract. And the contract tends to open the gates. What I mean by open the gates is it creates the synchronicity of meeting people who are the key holders to make things happen in the physical domain. So you need that. And this is why alighting to a spiritual purpose, why you feel you're here, is so important, is because it's the purpose that magnetizes and focuses your direction and intent. And what happens is that when you have this vision that is gifted to you, and often it's placed in your heart, and the reasons that it's in your heart is that God has put it there because it already exists for you. You're here to birth it and create it into being. There will be others whom you share this vision with that deeply resonate with your message, with your vision, and choose to be a part of it. And then they come into that morphogenic field, that frequency, and aligned with the intent of the purpose that you see and feel and hold as an intentional field, and they can begin to organize themselves off that intentional field. What this means is that they bring their own genius, they bring their own creative influence into it and organize themselves in vibrational alignment with the purpose or visionary intent. That way there's always this beautiful alignment and synarchy that brings together this group cohesive field of energy magnetized together like glue by this inspiring intention. Therefore, people don't, in this case, need to be told what to do. for they are inspired by the higher light of their soul into action, into the moment from being into doing, and they organize themselves. And this requires you, as an awakened leader, to simply hold the morphogenic field of the intent, sort of like a morphogenic container in its own right. And your role in your own biological hologram is to hold a strong, positive, aligned, effortless, and surrendered intention. And that field of intention directs the morphogenic field for others to come into and begin organizing themselves around. And as you do that, magic begins to unlock around you as these wonderful people who feel connected to your inspired vision come toward you, magnetized by your coherence into your field, and you begin to create, magic with these people who you look around and incredible beings around, who are all seeded by this pre-birth soul agreement to create this vision. And so the first and most important theme that sets the direction and energy and intent of all creation for awakened leaders is that beautiful visionary purpose. And the purpose is what drives, I guess, the momentum of the group cohesiveness and the types of other people that you can attract into your wake. So that's the first principle for awakened leaders, is crystallizing the purpose, tuning into your own pre-birth soul agreements. That's the contract that sets things in motion. Remember, there are three things: contract, coding, and consciousness. The consciousness is how expanded your consciousness is and how you understand how things work, especially operating in alignment with natural law. And the coding is the aspects of your DNA that are accreting and are releasing the biophotonic light emissions that provide that attractor signature, because your intent moves through your biophotonic light emissions. So your personal work you have done on your path to clear your genetic line, your past lifelines, are all part of the coding frequency, which then ensures that your attractor fields are in place so that you can bring towards you and attract through you and magnetize through you your visionary purpose that you hold. So, number one, purpose. As that sets a direction and intent, and everything builds from there.